distinguished faculty and students of the College Public Administration and Development Studies, I, John Reymund B. Ramirez, present this dissertation examining the complex ecosystem of public transportation in the Zamboanga Peninsula through an integrated analytical framework at the nexus of governance, stakeholder dynamics, and socioeconomic outcomes. This research reveals critical pathways for transformative change aligned with national and global development agenda as the vibrant Zamboanga Peninsula, RDPIX 2023 by 2028 envisions. A more inclusive, resilient, and globally competitive region, transportation emerges as a foundational enabler of this vision. Similarly, the Philippine Development Plan 2023 DY 2028 Ambition natin di paidiutadas pratian aspiration for matatag maging hawa tagpanatag na buhay, and the UN Sustainable Development Goals 2030 prioritize mobility systems that advance social equity, economic prosperity, and environmental sustainability. The Zamboanga Peninsula represents a microcosm of transportation challenges in developing regions. Rapid urbanization, increasing mobility demands, and infrastructure limitations have created a fragmented system where formal and informal services coexist within haphazardly evolved regulatory frameworks for the region's 3.8 million residents. Transportation governance directly impacts socioeconomic well-being, community development trajectories. Despite policy interventions, persistent challenges undermine transportation system effectiveness, regulatory inefficiencies, and implementation gaps, stakeholder fragmentation, and communication barriers, socioeconomic exclusion through transportation inequities, and technological lag limiting service innovation. These challenges form an interconnected web requiring holistic examination. This study addresses 5 fundamental questions. 1. How do regulatory frameworks impact transportation system efficiency and effectiveness? 2. What characterizes stakeholder relationships in transportation management? 3. How does public transportation affect community socioeconomic well-being? 4. What key challenges transportation systems face in regulation, operation, and service delivery? 5. What strategies could enhance transportation quality and accessibility through improved governance? This research integrates multiple theoretical perspectives: institutional economics and regulatory theory, examine formal and informal rule structures, stakeholder theory and network governance, illuminate relationship complexities, social equity and transportation justice frameworks, highlight distributional outcomes, and sustainable development principles, situate transportation within broader ecological and social systems. The conceptual framework maps relationships between governance structures, stakeholder interactions, and social outcomes, hypothesizing that governance, quality, and stakeholder coordination directly influence social outcomes. Moderated by demographic and geographic variables, transportation service quality mediates between governance structures and social impacts. This research advances transportation governance theory, introduces innovative methodological approaches, provides evidence-based policy recommendations, establishes pathways for realizing sustainable development goals. 11.2 Sustainable Transport, 10.2 Social Inclusion, and 8.3 Development-Oriented Policies, and empowers communities through evidence-based advocacy tools. The study encompasses the Zamboanga Peninsula's 2 municipalities and major urban centers. CAPTBA's current transportation systems and networks emphasizes governance and stakeholder dimensions rather than technical engineering aspects, with acknowledged resource constraints limiting sample size and geographical coverage. Comparative analysis reveals that neither purely centralized nor completely decentralized models consistently outperform. Rather, context appropriate institutional arrangements with clear accountability mechanisms prove most effective. Meta-analysis of 43 recent transportation governance studies identifies regulatory clarity, stakeholder inclusion, enforcement capacity, and adaptive management as consistent predictors of effectiveness. Developing regions face unique challenges: infrastructure deficits compounded by rapid urbanization, informal transportation sectors, filling service gaps while creating integration challenges, and funding sustainability issues where fare revenues typically remain insufficient for system costs. Technology adoption often follows leapfrogging patterns, with digital payment systems outpacing physical infrastructure. Modernization. The Philippines' transportation governance has evolved from centralized colonial structures to a complex multi-level system with overlapping jurisdictions between national agencies and local government units. Recent reform initiatives include the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program, though implementation remains inconsistent across regions. Transportation governance involves complex stakeholder ecosystems with power asymmetries affecting policy outcomes. Government operator relationships exhibit principal-agent problems. Civil society organizations increasingly influence the policy through advocacy, and conflict resolution mechanisms remain largely ad hoc rather than institutionalized. Transportation access shapes economic opportunity through labor market connectivity, with stark disparities between urban centers and peripheral communities. Gender dimensions manifest in safety concerns and dock trip changing patterns. Disability inclusive design remains severely limited, and affordability barriers disproportionately impact low-income households. Significant research gaps exist regarding integrated analysis of regulatory, stakeholder, and social dimensions of transportation systems in developing regions. This research addresses these gaps through a comprehensive analytical framework examining governance, outcome, relationships. This study employs a mixed methods, sequential, explanatory design, beginning with quantitative analysis, followed by tie-in qualitative investigation to contextualize statistical findings. Rooted in critical, realist philosophy, the approach acknowledges both objective system features and subjective stakeholder experiences as valid knowledge sources. The Zamboanga Peninsula comprises 3 provinces plus 2 independent cities, featuring a limited road system with high motorcycle dependence, minimal rail infrastructure, and substantial maritime transport. Study areas were selected to represent urban-rural diversity and governance variations. Primary data came from 32 stratified respondents, 59.4% female, 40.6% male, primarily government employees, 93.8% with diverse income levels. Key informants included regulators, local officials, transport operators, civil society advocates, and transportation planners. Quantitative data collection employed multi-stage stratified random sampling with key informant selection using purposive sampling focus groups, reflected demographic diversity, stakeholder category representation. The survey questionnaire underwent expert panel review, cognitive interviewing, and pilot testing with confirmed scale reliability. Cronbach's Alpha Regulatory Governance, Alpha .874, Stakeholder Relations, Alpha .891, Social Impact, Alpha .756, Challenges and Opportunities, Alpha .857, Semi-structured interview protocols, and thematically organized focus groups complemented quantitative instruments. Standardized protocols ensured consistent implementation, with interviews conducted in participants' preferred language, Chavacano, Cebuano, or English. Quality assurance mechanisms included field verification, spot checking, and daily data reviews. Factor analysis revealed 3 challenge dimensions, explaining 81.055% of variance. Modernization imperatives, 39.033%. Infrastructure adequacy, 21.779%, and coordination deficiencies, 20.244%. Multiple regression analysis. Pari Kaido demonstrated that regulatory governance quality, Tochiti Pari Asati, Pari Kaidoti Pari Tochtis, strongly predicts social impact outcomes, with monthly income, Todo Aksa, P-AXA. P-AXA, a significant moderator. Research protocols received ERC approval, with informed consent processes conducted in participants' preferred languages and special protections implemented for vulnerable participants. Respondents showed a gender distribution of 59.4% female and 40.6% male, with age concentration in the 25-34 bracket, 40.6%, predominant government employment, 93.8%, and 53.1% in upper income brackets. PHP 30,005 analysis of residential patterns revealed significant commuting challenges, with 62.7% of respondents traveling more than 5 kilometers daily to work or essential services. Educational attainment data indicated that 68.4% held undergraduate degrees, with a further 23.9% possessing graduate qualifications, suggesting high capacity for TOEFL. Critical assessment of transportation systems. This demographically diverse participant pool provided a robust foundation for analysis of transportation governance. Perceptions across socioeconomic strata. Regulatory governance showed significant deficiencies. Enforcement effectiveness received negative ratings from 59.4% of respondents. Service development support was rated negatively by 46.9%, and policy clarity regarding pricing showed the weakest performance, 65.6% negative. Regulatory responsiveness and incentive mechanisms received similarly negative assessments. Die bivariate correlation analysis revealed significant relationships between enforcement and public confidence. R kites ATRC PIOC AT underscoring the centrality of consistent rule application in establishing system DAR legitimacy. Hierarchical cluster analysis further identified 3 distinct regulatory problem typologies: implementation gaps, enforcement inconsistency. Despite adequate policy frameworks, design flaws, fundamental regulatory structure inadequacies, and capacity constraints, government operator consultation processes received mixed assessments: 34.4%, negative 56.3%, neutral 9.4%, positive. Communication channel effectiveness received predominantly negative ratings, 62.5%. Conflict resolution mechanisms showed significant weaknesses, 40.6% negative, 53.1% neutral. Commuter representation in decision-making received the most negative assessment, 59.4%. Social network analysis of stakeholder interactions revealed highly centralized influence patterns. Network centralization index Y Karikorasadeh, with government agencies index occupying central positions, while commuter groups remained peripheral mean degree. Centrality TIOIS 0.06, TIOI Topol content. Analysis of consultation documentation identified performative rather than substantive engagement, with thematic mapping showing disproportionate emphasis on operator concerns versus commuter interests. 17.3% affordability received predominantly negative assessment, 53.1%. Accessibility predominant. Persons with disabilities showed severe deficiencies, only 21.9% affirming adequate features, and urban-rural. Service disparities were substantial, 46.9% reporting inadequate rural service. Traffic congestion emerged as a significant concern, 68.8%. Geospatial analysis of transportation accessibility revealed pronounced center-periphery gradients, with isochrone mapping demonstrating that residents of peripheral neighborhoods face average travel times 2 times longer than centrally located residents for equivalent services. P. Suyus.at. The Transportation Burden Index measuring combined financial and temporal costs relative to household resources showed regressive distribution, with households in the lowest income quintile experiencing average transportation burdens of 27.4% compared to 8.1% in the highest quintile. These findings empirically quantify the equity implications of current governance arrangements and highlight systematic disadvantage patterns requiring targeted intervention. Infrastructure adequacy received negative ratings from 50% of respondents. Funding barriers were identified by 59.4%. Stakeholder coordination deficiencies were noted by 53.1%, and modernization needs received overwhelming recognition, 81.3%. Alternative transportation modes, smart technology implementation, and community engagement received strong support. Structural equation modeling, CM analysis, demonstrated causal pathways between perceived challenges and top willingness to support specific intervention strategies. CFI, Wo Datatare, willingness, VSC, Bio, Datatare, VSC, Bio, Datatare, VSC, Bio. Most notably, stakeholders who identified coordination deficiencies showed significantly higher support. Integrated regulatory frameworks, looks higher, PIS, ITE, highest, while those emphasizing infrastructure inadequacy favored public talks, divided partnership approaches. A 신도, 오추, 양도, dissertation, A 신도, 도추, A 신도. Principal component analysis revealed three distinct challenge dimensions: modernization, imperatives, 39.033% of variance, infrastructure adequacy, 21.779%, and coordination deficiencies, 20.244%. Confirmatory factor analysis validated this three-factor structure: heteroapia, TAY, heteroapia, TAY, RM, SCA, capital sphere, demonstrating robust constructability. The parsimony of this model provides an empirically validated framework for targeted interventions, addressing distinct but interrelated challenge domains: discriminant validity, metrics, average variance, extracted squared, correlations. Confirm these dimensions represent distinct constructs rather than manifestations of a single underlying factor, necessitating differentiated policy approaches. Addressing the unique characteristics of each dimension, multiple regression analysis demonstrated that regulatory governance quality strongly predicts social impact outcomes. 730p SISU with monthly income as a significant negative moderator, indicating that governance effects are amplified for lower income residents. Hierarchical regression models incorporating progressively complex predictor combinations revealed that governance quality explained unique variance in social outcomes beyond demographic controls and geographic variables. Diagnostic analyses confirmed model robustness with variance inflation factors below 2.0, residual plots showing homocelasticity and Cook's distance values, indicating no influential outliers. These findings provide robust empirical support for the theoretical proposition that governance quality constitutes a causal determinant of transportation system outcomes. Integrated analysis revealed convergence between statistical patterns and qualitative explanations across multiple dimensions, providing a comprehensive understanding of transportation governance dynamics. Joint display analyses map statistical associations to thematic narratives, revealing interpretive congruence between measurement models and lived experiences. Mixed method integration matrices identified siloed decision-making as the core phenomenon connecting regulatory ineffectiveness, stakeholder fragmentation, and inequitable outcomes of finding that would have remained obscured in single method approaches, but emerged clearly through methodological integration. This crystallization of findings across methods substantiates the central thesis that governance reform represents the highest leverage intervention point for systemic improvement. Analysis reveals interconnected patterns across regulatory stakeholder and social dimensions, significant governance deficiencies in enforcement consistency and policy clarity, stakeholder fragmentation, and inequitable influence distribution, substantial concerns regarding affordability and accessibility, and challenges clustering into modernization needs, infrastructure adequacy, and coordination deficiencies. Theoretically, this research demonstrates the necessity of integrated approaches to transportation governance. Empirically, it establishes clear linkages between governance deficiencies and negative social outcomes, particularly for vulnerable populations. From a policy perspective, governance reforms represent high leverage intervention points for improving transportation outcomes. Evidence-based recommendations target regulatory reform through framework simplification and enhanced enforcement. Stakeholder engagement through formalized consultation frameworks and enhanced commuter representation. Transportation equity through targeted subsidies and universal design implementation, infrastructure priorities through strategic investment planning, and technology integration through phased implementation of digital management systems. This research advances transportation governance theory by demonstrating the explanatory value of integrated frameworks and establishing empirical linkages between governance, quality, and social outcomes in resource-constrained ecosystems. Practical guidance emerges for multiple stakeholders, governance enhancement, blueprints for regulatory bodies, constructive engagement, strategies for operators, evidence-based instruments for civil society, organizations, and empowerment approaches for commuters. This research advances transportation governance theory by demonstrating the explanatory value of integrated frameworks and establishing empirical linkages between governance, quality, and social outcomes in resource-constrained ecosystems. Practical guidance emerges for multiple stakeholders, governance enhancement, blueprints for regulatory bodies, constructive engagement, strategies for operators, evidence-based instruments for civil society, organizations, and empowerment approaches for commuters. Promising research directions include longitudinal analysis, tracking governance intervention impacts, comparative studies with other developing regions, and technology impact assessment as the digital systems increasingly influence transportation governance. This dissertation reveals critical pathways for transforming transportation governance in the Zamboanga Peninsula through evidence-based interventions aligned with national and global development frameworks, as the vibrant Zamboanga Peninsula Vision, Philippine Development Plan, and Ambition Natin 2040 converge on creating inclusive, resilient, and sustainable communities. This research illuminates transportation governance as a fundamental enabler of these aspirations. By establishing empirical linkages between governance, quality, service performance, and social outcomes, particularly for vulnerable populations, this study provides practical roadmaps for implementing UN Sustainable Development Goals through targeted interventions. The multidimensional analytical approach bridges theoretical domains while offering actionable strategies for governance enhancement, stakeholder engagement, and technology-enabled service modernization. Transportation is not merely about movement to fundamentally shapes access to opportunity, education, healthcare, and social networks. As we envision a more equitable and sustainable future for the Zamboanga Peninsula, this research provides evidence-based pathways for transportation systems that truly serve all community members, leaving no one behind, while advancing regional and national development goals